Hello, Sharpies. How y'all doing? How your mama and them doing?
How you churn doing?
How your churn doing? Your aunties and all them folks and stuff. How your Dogecoin doing? How about that?
That is a good question.
Because I know some of y'all had a little tumble. You thought Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live was going to be your Dogecoin kickoff. And Elon made Dogecoin look like a hot mess. And people lost 30% of that coinage on the dogery. How is everybody doing tonight? Did you all like Sharpies? Did you like our new little intro we put together? You like the
that was dope.
There you go, Anthony Turner. Thank you.
I thought it was dope.
Good evening. Good evening to all y'all.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. What's going on, everybody?
It is a good day. Hello, Jerome. It is a good day to be a Black person in this country if you're on this show.
Yes, if you're on the show and listening to us now.
Because we know it's a lot going on, but we are here and we are happy to be here with you all because this is Steel Sharpens Steel. And as you all
is it after dark? It's not after dark. Okay.
I mean, every time it's a wine glass doesn't mean it has to be after dark. You can
Joy, they can see you moving over.
They can't see me.
And guess what? Guess what, Joy?
Wait.
It's dark outside, so you good.
That's right. Yeah. It's dark outside. That's the excuse.
My boy, Willie said, all I have in this world is y'all. I feel you.
Wow.
I feel you. Like,
well, I appreciate that.
I can skip a lot of stuff. I can flake on a lot of things. I can pretend I didn't hear about a whole lot of events, but I show up every Friday for this because
that is right.
It makes me happy.
And I can tell you up to an hour before, I'm wondering who am I gonna call in sick?
Every Friday, Cher.
Air Friday.
Yeah.
Air Friday does it. Air Friday does it. You ain't messing with my Sharpies though.
No.
You're right.
I'm only here because of them.
That's right.
We love y'all.
We do love you.
You know what? Go ahead, CJ. She said y'all on my calendar.
That's right.
What I'm talking about.
Thanks, CJ.
I know that's right.
My peepers.
Oh, I hear somebody clinking in a glass. Carla ain't there. Sharon got her redo on last week's drink.
Because it's 7 o'clock, 7:30ish.
She was trying to be slick.
Carla ain't coming till tomorrow. And Sharon need a vaccine booster. So
yes.
I went and created my own booster concoction.
I want to. It's apparently working well.
It's just getting started, y'all.
Speaking
this week's concoction is
okay,
brought to you by Bay Breeze.
Oh,
okay.
1.5
ounces of vodka, 2 ounces of cranberry juice, 2 ounces of pineapple juice, and a fresh lime wedge, of which I didn't have, so I put a sprinkle of lemon juice.
Little sprinkle.
I love it.
Sprinkle. Bless it. Just bless it.
Sprinkle on it.
This is the end of my current box of wine. I had to tilt it.
I got a bottle of trying to mail you.
At the cookout, like you had to lean it and like
for a road trip.
Lean it at the same time. It's still one more glass
road trip.
Joy, you got to show us that box. You've been talking about that box for months.
I've seen
the box.
You seen the box? I haven't seen the box.
You just be glossy-eyed by then.
Is that what it is?
She poured from the box. She put it right back there, and it's got a spout. It's got a spout.
A spout. That's right.
It's almost empty now.
It is straight the travel coffee mug.
Nice.
I'm a little wine box, short and stout. Here is my alcohol. Here is my spout.
You legit have a box of wine. Like you've been saying that for months, and I didn't believe you.
Okay, first of all, for those of you all who patronize the Co of Cost, they got a box full of mojitos.
What?
I said it.
You got a Costco card, don't you?
They got a box full of mojitos. I found that out when I was not celebrating Cinco de Mayo last week. Or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was.
I will.
You know what? Can let's not talk about slits and boxes and
No,
things.
because we had Daddy
Look,
Dick.
'cause we
and-
gotta
Yeah,
talk
we had
about
Daddy
Daddy
Dick
Dick.
last
Oh, my goodness, last
week. You
week.
can't be doing that now.
So y'all
I'm
not
like, they doing
behaving.
what
And
you
then
want.
Y'all
Tom
already
took
misbehaving.
Chuck. Tom took it up a level. He wants to talk about Daddy Dick's daughter this week.
Yeah, see. But
See, you know,
look,
he can't. Joy, you're right. He can't just let somebody have it.
Yeah,
He's
y'all-
always got
y'all-
to. He's always got to pepper your story. So
Mhm.
I rolled. I was like, "Did that say that?" See, but I love you, Tom. So for me, I had to give you a little props.
all
But
I know.
I understand you, Joy.
Okay. Jerome Cummings says Bill Maher is not coming on. We all know why Bill Maher is not taping this week because even though he is double vaxxed, he is COVID positive.
Jerome just trying to tell us to fill that hour for him. He ain't slick.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can fill that hour. We can fill that hour.
Oh, we can
got
fill
you,
the hour
Jerome.
now. We got you.
But you know that's the part, y'all. That you know, I was glad to see the solidarity amongst the Black delegation and a lot of our allies, a lot of our non-Black allies too. CDC came out with that report yesterday, and we weren't having it. It's like I peep game right off. I know y'all did too. I'm like this curious. We're 2 weeks away from what? Memorial Day weekend. We're 6 weeks away from 4th of July weekend. Man, at the end of the day, this is all to get you all out in the malls, back in the restaurants, and man, whatever. I'll be at the crib. Period. That's the end of the story.
Well, I'm not afraid. You know, as we addressed last week, it does feel nice to have the 2 shots in 2 weeks. I feel more confident, but I'm not going nowhere. No way.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I do go to the grocery store, but I've always gone to the grocery store. I've never been that afraid since, like, let's call it May of last year to be out to do the things I need to do to survive. I wasn't scared like that. But now that I have the vaccine and my daughter just got her first shot, Kathy's all double vaxxed. And so to me, it just makes me feel like I don't feel as stressed about the idea of catching it. And if I do happen to come up as COVID positive, I don't feel like I'm going to be on an iron lung. But I'm still wearing a mask because I know it's a whole bunch of anti-vaxxers out there who don't want to wear a mask. And I don't want to be out there and have the, hey, look at you, brother, no mask. No, I'm vaccinated. That's why I ain't got a mask on. I'm not one of you people. I'm not one of them. No, I got the 5G reception flowing through my body right now, so I'm good.
So I will say that my main goal in getting vaccinated was so that I could get back out to doing the things I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to spend money where I wanted to spend money.
There you
I wanted
go.
to be able to go where I wanted to go. Those places aren't in the States. But I do want to go back to Jamaica. I want
There
to
you
go back to Barbados. I want to go back to Trinidad. I'm not from the islands, but I feel like I could be. Like I feel like I might be Rihanna's little older cousin. But I want to get the F up out of here.
Right.
And to do that, other countries are like, you got to be vaccinated. You ain't said nothing but a word.
I know that's right.
I'm out.
Yeah, Europe is open arms to Americans that are vaccinated. So, you know, if you want to be out in the world, just go on ahead and get the shot. It's free. You can get it at a Walgreens or a CVS. Well, don't get it at CVS because apparently their stuff is crazy. But it's quick and you're covered. Yeah. And so whereas I was like a little skittish, I take my mask off as soon as I get out the building now on my way to my car. Like I'm not on my way to the club or anything, but I'm saying if I don't see anybody in the building, mask is off. If I get on the elevator, ain't nobody in it, mask is off. Because I'm just ready. I feel comfortable and confident like that. But I bring my mask with me because there's a whole lot of you Marjorie Taylor Greene supporters out there who Lauren Boebert bobbleheads and Jim Jordanites and all those other crazy fools who don't want to wear a daggone mask. I wear my mask so that you understand it's important for folks to still wear masks because a lot of y'all ain't vaccinated. It's only 70%. What is 117 million adults? There's a whole lot of people not vaccinated even once in this country.
Yeah.
So get your act right.
And down here in the deep South, Sharon, I'm not sure how much venturing out you've done in our fair city over the last couple of weeks, but you can almost tell the red hat wearers in the stores. I mean, I'm still going in double masked up. and they walk in with aggression. I mean, I had a post up the other day that was funny. I was in Wells Fargo, and this chick was livid. Like, she walked in like it's almost like a movie scene when she opened the door, like the wind was flowing out. Everybody looked to the left. You know, she's walking in, you know, looking like the Bride of Frankenstein or something. Yeah, no mask, and you know, she falls up in there, and just the friendliest teller that you ever want to see came around the corner, like, "Ma'am, do you have a mask?" And she was pissed off, like, "That's not the law anymore." And she was like, "Well, ma'am, this is a private bank, and yes, we can refuse, you know, service. So please put on a mask, or we're going to have to ask you to leave." And man, she pulled out that old nasty, wrinkled up mask and what have you. But I was satisfied. I was happy. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm also head on a swivel, because I know a lot of these red hat wearers are Second Amendment types, just looking for an opportunity to say, well, they were fussing at me, and then the big black guy was looking at me crazy, and I was afraid, you know. So I'm like just trying to peek just in case I gotta defend myself or something like that. But it was again, it made me realize it's like, this isn't going to be easy, because you've got some people who just might be stupid enough to approach the wrong one of us.
I know,
and
that's right.
You know, like Marlo Stanfield said back in the day on The Wire, you want it one way, but it's the other way.
It's the other way.
Right.
It's the other way.
Chuck, I'm not sure if my eyes speak for my mouth.
Yeah.
I still haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
Do I have like sinister, descriptive eyes?
Yeah.
But I mask everywhere. And I walked into the bakery, and I don't go nowhere. Publix comes out with the cart and puts the groceries in the trunk. Okay. And I will upcharge anything not to go in your establishment and for you to bring it out.
Okay.
But this here day in the morning, I just felt like getting out the car and walked up into my neighborhood bakery, having a moment. And Karen gets out next to me, and I said, this is not going to work out. Well, right? Because I know I'd be dreaming, wanting this shit to happen. But yes, Joy, I was like, why they don't try us?
Right, right.
Karen gets out. I'm hobbling, like I'm trying to pretend to be a little old lady. And she gets out aggressively and was like, oh, shit, I forgot my mask. So I stopped to say, I know you're going to get back in your car and go get it.
Go get it.
She looks around. She does that frantic moment, and I'm fully masked, and I start walking to the door. And then she proceeds to fly by me quickly and says, I'm going to ask them if they have any masks. I haven't opened my mouth yet, right?
I don't care about you.
She flies by me. She sticks her head into the establishment. Excuse me, I left my mask. Do y'all happen to have any masks in there that you can let me use? I thought she was going to say borrow, right?
Wow.
They were like, no. But then Becky inside goes, oh, come on in. So there is a white gentleman in there with his mask on, who I believe held the door for me. And so I didn't call him a 6F. He was just a white gentleman. She ushers, because he stands against the wall. Like, we all vaxxed. We know what we can do. We covered. We want what we want, what we came to, but we not going to stay. She ain't concerned about us. She proceeds to start ordering frantically and talking about her mask. I'm like, if you don't have on a mask and they let you in, shut up, because you're spreading your germs. Okay.
Right.
So she's clearly a little uncomfortable, but feels like she's not uncomfortable enough to leave. So the woman said, it's going to be a few minutes. She looked around. I'm just going to leave. I was like, is this like reverse Magadum? I'm just going to leave. Bye. Right.
Deuces.
And the guy, because he was standing in front of me, he was like, ma'am, you go ahead. I said, what is happening? It must be the eyes. Because he not only ushered me, he had on his mask. The young lady behind the counter who was sitting on the phone, I was like, oh, I'm going to get the owner. I couldn't even get a word in. I was just like you on the phone too long. You allowed Karen to come in here without a mask. And then I proceed to do my order. The owner comes, who happens to know me. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, I just had a little bit of a craving for me and my son. I just want to get out now. because they, too much. So that was my first and last trip back into general population.
The world.
Yeah.
But see, you got to realize, Sharon, because they can only see your eyes, what they can't see is your gritted teeth behind that mask.
That's why, y'all see that? What these eyes tell you?
What, you got a whole parade coming through? Hey, aunties!
Hey, Sharpies! See,
What's happening?
That's y'all act right. That's y'all act right. We'll get some Sharpie cameos.
So,
Right?
they said you are who you hang with, right? So, to my left are Dr. Dar Green,
Hello, Dr. Dar Green.
neonatal pediatric anesthesiologist out of Orlando.
Doctor.
Hey, doctor.
And there's Dr. Green, yes. And then look at who is that? And then actually Tangeria Willis, who owns the E-Closet consignment shop. She does like luxury consignment.
E-Closet consignment.
Hey.
PSA. Hey, beautiful. I love your salt and pepper.
Not looking terrible today. She's like, no, go back, do something else with yourself. And so, yeah, it was a party over here. So this is what happens when everybody get vaccinated.
Hey,
right. Y'all can do stuff.
Y'all gonna see some drop-ins now. Y'all gonna see some drop-ins.
You are gonna see some drop-ins. We've had Nalo, and now we had
Carla last week.
Carla.
And now Joy had a whole party.
Yeah, doctors and haberdashers.
Haberdashers, yes. Actually, she is chief fashion consultant of E-Closet.
There you go, key fashion consultant.
Sexy people.
And super Sharpie.
Yeah, I know sexy people.
Oh, and an engineer. Look at y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You were making it work
Get
out.
you some black women like this in your life.
That's right. We had a specific request in the comments, and don't think we left you out, because it's about that time to talk about y'all and these fuel shortages. Now, when I first saw this picture, I wasn't sure if this was like one of those cut scenes from Fight Club where they had all of the fat from the lipo things that they were stored in bags. But you start off with gas in bags and you end up with flames in your trunk.
Wow.
Wow.
That really happened to you.
Yeah.
Is that the one that lit the cigarette?
Listen, all I can tell you is that thanks to my high school science, high school chemistry, gasoline in liquid form is not flammable. But the fumes are extra flammable. And guess what happens when you apply heat to a liquid? It all turns into fumes. And then once it all turns into fumes, it turns into explosions. So y'all people, I know you need your gas. They paid the pirates. So you're going to get your gas back because they paid the pirates.
You didn't need your gas.
They didn't need that much gas.
They didn't need that much
gas. Where were you going? Ain't you supposed to still be in the house? What the hell are you doing?
They were going to take
like a week and a half. It was going to be maybe a 3 or 4 day delay. Sit your ass at home and don't go nowhere for the weekend like you've been doing. And now you out here hoarding gas like it's the apocalypse, and you done blew your car up. Good luck with that, because I know State Farm canceled your shit. I know they did.
It was Mad Max Beyond Mogadome. That's what they were doing. They were trying to send Dogecoin to the moon.
We don't need another hero, right?
We don't need another hero. We don't need a trunk full of fuel.
It is. Right on.
All we want is life beyond the Doja Dome.
That's it.
Yeah,
man.
it's I don't know what y'all people are doing.
Tom, it shows how selfish Americans are.
I mean,
in the modern era. I mean, it reminds me, all we have to do is rewind 13 months ago. You go to the store, there's no toilet paper, no bleach. The thing, I'm just like, where's the damn bleach? We had to wait like weeks to get even the generic bleaches or the Clorox, and you just realize, like, what are y'all doing? Drinking the bleach? It was.
Well, they were instructed to.
Yeah.
Yes, and how?
Well, to be fair, this
to be fair,
true. It was a cure. It was a proposed cure by their president. You're 100% right. But again,
my God,
if you think back on World War II,
right?
Back during that time when they had to ration out gas and nylon and all sorts of other commodities, and Americans had enough discipline to realize that we needed to ration. Likewise, in our lifetimes, everybody here, we were young. But I remember the odd and even days of the late 1970s when all of the OPEC oil embargo was popping off. And I remember those long ass lines and what have you, going on odd and even days, because my mama's car was an even tag, dad's car was not. So
In the
might spend
70s.
the 2-3 hours worth of gas lines on back-to-back days when I was a kid, depending on who came to pick me up from
That's right.
school. But we dealt with it, but not now. Folks are, I got mine. I'm gonna go take the contractor bag or the memes.
The empty gas can.
Crazy.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
usually the only time I have to ration gas is after an El Torito buffet. But these people are acting like there's never going to be another gallon of gas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just, you people, you know what doesn't spontaneously explode in your trunk? Toilet tissue.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to ration something, go get you some extra toilet tissue. They got the toilet tissue. You could burn the toilet tissue as fuel if you needed to. But what you don't need to do is put a caustic solvent in a thin ass plate. Those look like the waste paper liners in your office, bro.
That is
How
what
the
they
hell
were.
are you putting gallons of gas?
Those were industrial.
They
trash.
stole the
Probably thought they were
bags.
stronger.
I mean, you stole the bags to set your car on fire. How'd that work out for you?
Stupid. Just stupid.
But I mean, whenever we think that America can't get more strange,
Mm-hmm.
they never disappoint.
No.
Never.
No.
They never
No.
disappoint.
Speaking of people who are strange and never disappoint, how about this clown?
No.
Yeah.
Segue. Say it again, brother.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, you can Google this right now. She tried to take it off of Twitter, but as you know, the internet is forever. And so you can Google Marjorie Taylor Greene, comma, AOC, and look at this screaming banshee standing outside her office, yelling into the mail slot.
She's crazy.
She crazy. And then once she got elected, she tried to purge it. But you know, people have already been done, grabbed it. That was in 2019. So,
But you know what, Tom? I actually have to reverse myself a little bit. I'm not sure how crazy she actually is. Like, for instance, crazy will run up on whoever. I think this woman picks and chooses, just like we were talking about with the MAGA mask wearers.
Mm-hmm.
She picks and chooses who she messes around with. So she's bothering with AOC.
Please run up on me.
Thank you. Or y'all saw her. What's her name? Stacey Plaskett. Run up on Stacey. Let's see if she tries to get into a screaming match with that sister and see how that works out. It won't work out.
I'll take the misdemeanor.
First of all, Stacey Plaskett will take her all the way to Themyscira. So
Right.
You can try it if you want to. Stacey got her super cape. She ready to flap you into some crazy foolishness. Don't get caught up now.
Right.
GT.
So she's real selective with who she pops off to. That's all I'm trying to get at. And it's just a matter of time before she pulls the right card, and it's not going to end the way she thinks it's going to
Joy,
end.
she makes me rock. I'm sorry. She makes me rock.
Go ahead, get your rock on.
My best to hold it together, but that chick has unnerved me today. Like, you know, AOC is trying so hard to go high, but boo, I know you from the Bronx, and I know you
bartender. I know
Bronx
you got some bartender.
I know you got some peeps that can tighten that up.
I know y'all right.
It just unnerves me that she is such a lunatic, and she is egging on an ass whooping. She is like egging it on.
Asking.
Yeah.
Asking.
They know you see who they didn't try.
No.
Not near one of us.
No,
right.
Because Maxine would reclaim that ass.
Maxine will come out of her
purse. And Cori Bush will get you right. All of them people up there like, look, my check look real good up here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And my leader ain't putting up with this. Kevin McCarthy will put up with that shit. Nancy ain't.
Mm-hmm.
She might say, I don't want to punish you, but it's coming. Because she's doing, and I know she packing, right?
Oh, yeah.
But look.
But Sharon, let me ask you, because you and Tom have got the most experience up there on Capitol Hill. Let me ask you.
No, that's her.
Oh, okay. I thought you was all up in there too last November or October. But here's the deal. What I'm trying to figure out is, can she carry into the congressional chambers, or is she in there?
First of all, she has no committees. She just walk in the halls, right?
Right.
So because they can pack in their office, it's already in her office.
Gotcha.
So they can't, there's nobody. I mean, first of all, she's a ticking time bomb. She is a balloon of irrelevance.
Ooh.
She is a doughboy of poison oxygen. She is carbon monoxide.
Hashtag balloon of irrelevance, though.
Hey,
Yeah.
I know you know, every now and then, but it's just, I mean, she is such an agitator. She gonna catch the right one, and it might be a Karen. That's a lady. That's like, I'm just a little tired of you. You are embarrassing the race. Somebody needs to call her that. You are she is Miss Anglo-Saxon. And I just
Anglo-Saxon.
I need a Becky who's splacking a brother to just get her right.
Did you
I
just
take
say
it.
black and a brother?
I take it any way.
I ain't heard
it
this clack in like
Yeah, she took me back with that one. Yeah.
I mean, hey, onomatopoeia, you know.
There it is. I'm waiting to do the remix of the Whispers classic Rock Steady about Sharon. And she began to rock. Sharon rocking all show long. And she began to rock. Sharon rocking all night long. I just need a twin up in here.
Lord have mercy.
So we actually do have a show. We've done 30 minutes of generalized
the show.
We did a couple of things of the show. We can close out the Marjorie Taylor Greene segment with this breaking news. The errant Long March 5B rocket launched by China finally crashes down to Georgia, landing on GOP Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. We'll see what happens to those slippers if they go to
good tornado.
Miss Stefanik. Given how things have turned out with that, which leads us into. Go ahead, Sharon or Joy.
Before we leave the state of Georgia, I do have something I would like to say. Now, I will say that this is all about me and my personal endorsement. I haven't cleared this with the rest of my team. They don't know what I'm about to say. But remember last week when we talked about Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms would not run for re-election? So as it turns out, one of my good friends, a man I admire, and I don't admire many men that I haven't, spent a whole lot of time with, but Andre Dickens is running for mayor of Atlanta. Andre, matter of fact, he's y'all's frat brother. He's a noob too. He is running for mayor of Atlanta. I've known Dre since we were Mr. and Mrs. African American Student Union at Georgia Tech in like 1994 or somewhere up in there.
She had to look up.
I know I had to think about it. Like, when was that? But you just have like a brother that's just like always doing the right thing. Like he never failed to be the one that was the voice of reason. That was maybe y'all shouldn't do that. Joy, maybe you should go home. You look a little twisted, sister. Like he was always that dude that was looking out for everybody, always had a plan, teaching kids how to code, coming back and working at the minority office at Georgia Tech. So my understanding and interaction with Andre has always been, this dude is about his business and he's about the community. And I'm beyond excited. And I personally am endorsing, not them, because they don't know him like I know him, but I am personally endorsing Andre Dickens for mayor of Atlanta because I think he's going to do a great job. If he handles business any way that he did back in the day, like I said, always on point, always made sure everybody came correct, made sure everybody was taken care of. If he can do that for Atlanta, he has my vote.
All right. That's a strong endorsement.
That is a strong endorsement. And while we are still on the topic of Marjorie Taylor Greene, here is her irrelevant balloon. And that is so big, so full of air, just waiting on somebody to jump on top of her.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
Marjorie Taylor Greene right there.
That deserves a sip.
Or this one. I don't know why wannabe Thor is holding Marjorie Taylor Greene's balloon, but
wow, he doesn't like Thor's illegitimate child.
He does. He's like Thor's stunt double. Speaking of foolish people who should be hit by defunct Chinese missiles, we have Elise Stefanik, who today was elected the House Conference Chair after Liz Cheney was unceremoniously removed from that office in a vote on Wednesday. I'm sure that these pictures just happen to be married together because of their choice of near identical color, but also Miss Stefanik does have the crazy eyes cracking off, and she committed to her support of the Republican that the voters selected to lead the Republican Party as though they had a choice on the November ballot. It wasn't any other Republicans on the Republican ticket running as Republicans other than Trump. So it was a binary choice anyway. So that rationale of supporting the person who lost and pretending as though he won, like you're a child who knocked over a lamp and then walked out the room, like, I don't know who knocked that lamp over. He lost. And you saying that he didn't lose just makes you crazy. At least Liz Cheney, as conservative as she is, as the scion of Sharon's nom de guerre, at least she is not delusional. At least she lives in reality. And there's something to be said for living in reality. I'm all for people who live in reality. So Liz Cheney, we hardly knew ye, but you were no longer the House Conference Chair. That is brand new crazy. Not even been in the office too long, Elise Stefanik, from New York, who is actually far more moderate in terms of her voting record than Liz Cheney ever was. Like, Liz Cheney in a fever dream wasn't nearly as moderate as this chick was, but they did elect her. Interestingly enough, a third of the Republican caucus did not support her, though. It wasn't like 90% or anything like that. There was a contingent, a fairly strong contingent, that did not vote for her. So they talk about we're still a united party. I mean, if 30% of your caucus didn't vote for you,
well, they did the 5-person demand of a secret ballot vote, which they didn't do the courtesy for Liz,
right?
Which really pisses me off. But what we really should be talking about? Y'all ready for this?
Y'all ready for this?
Donald Trump is gonna run again.
Oh yeah.
We acting like all of this is the setup. Okay. Donald Trump, somebody put up a meme that had Obama, W, and Clinton saying we won, we got reelected, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I bet you that meme is like on the wall in his house. And it was the cutest meme ever. They were like on a boat or something. And I was like, it just hit me like, oh my God, because we don't hear him, his voice and his squawking every day. We are underestimating what's happening before our very eyes. Well, and we made the comment the other day talking about, Ron DeSantis would make a great vice presidential candidate. When I heard that and realized that I doubt Pence would ever run again with him, or nor would we want him to, because he's already scarred by the crazies. This man, we need to really understand that in a year, this fool is about to start running again.
Well, it's also a grift. Right. The run.
That's how he makes money now.
Yeah, that's how he gets paid. And so, Sharon, I'm right there with you. I think his ego is hit that he lost. We could spend all year talking about his negatives, but for whatever reason, his core constituents still are enamored with him. I mean, there are very intelligent people, otherwise intelligent people, who actually are repeating the big lie. And I know that's not because they really believe it. I think that it's one of those, we've got to fit in, because if we don't, they will rebel against us in our home districts. I don't believe everybody that's a conservative Republican that's repeating the big lie actually believes the big lie. They're all cowards. They're very afraid of the backlash from a man who doesn't even have his Twitter platform anymore. But
you know what? I hate not being able to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because what has also come to I'm not just saying it's a big surprise he's going to run again. He is actively trying to manipulate state by state electoral systems.
He is.
Right. This is not I hope I'm going to win. This is, I'm going to make sure I win by whatever means necessary.
Well, the good news, at least, is that Ron DeSantis is so scared that he's about to be extradited by New York that he's about to sign legislation to prevent the extradition. But to your point, Sharon, he has announced 3 rallies. 2 rallies in June and 1 rally in July. He's going to go on the road and take his NSYNC reunion tour of idiots, bye, 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 all over the country to maybe less than packed. I mean, the Vaxxers, the Anti-Vaxxers don't really care about being next to people. But Herman Cain found out the rough way that you can play around if you want to, but thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of maskless, unvaccinated people is no way to spend a Sunday afternoon. But he's going to go out there. He's going to start the lies again or continue the lies and try to do something. Meanwhile, Cyrus and TT up there in New York trying to get their papers right and get caught out there on your little reunion tour. And the cops, you get in a non-extradition state, and the cops come get them handcuffs.
Wow, I could see it now.
The government.
That would be epic.
I could see it in my mind. Like he's up there. We're gonna go. We're gonna walk down. We're gonna what? Huh? What? Security. My security will handle what? No. They come.
No Secret Service.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I know my rights and all of that. I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love.
No, that would start a riot. If they frog marched him off a stage.
You mean another one?
Another one. Another one. Well, no, technically, according to certain Republican congresspersons, if you looked at that video without knowing it was January 6th, you would think it was just a tourist group.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever.
You mean the one spreading feces on the walls?
Yeah, well,
The tourist group we do it every Friday.
That was chocolate.
Okay.
Those were presents.
Yeah.
They came bearing dark chocolate boxes.
Right.
Thank you, because it took me a second to figure out what that stood for, but now I know and I like it.
But can somebody tell us, Nikki?
She did.
Oh.
FAFO. I thought that's how Mike Tyson said 54.
FAFO. Hush.
FAFO.
Leave Mike Tyson name and leave him alone because he will come fight. He'll punch you in the face.
You know what? And I have to give Mike Tyson a lot of credit. Have you ever watched one of his Hot Box podcast shows?
No.
So Mike Tyson is a weed entrepreneur now. And he has a podcast. That's right. He has a podcast called Hot Box. And I don't know. I have no idea what a hot box is. But I have heard, thanks to the Google, that hotboxing refers to smoking copious amounts of certain things in a closed room so that the room just starts recirculating all of the stuff. So that's the essence of what his podcast is. When I tell you, you need to look for the episode where he gets Boosie all the way together. You remember a few months back when Boosie was on some old homophobic stuff?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson got him in the hot box and said, "You ever wonder what that says about you?" And Boosie was like, da, ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. He thought he was just going to come on smoking weed. He was like, "I don't know why you keep talking about that."
Right.
And Boosie was like, shook.
Yeah, because it ain't like he going to beat Mike behind.
Hell no, he ain't.
You
Fafo.
gonna sit here and listen to whatever he got to say.
Fafo.
Right.
So look it up. Mike Tyson, Hotbox, Boosie.
Oh, God.
Look it.
I'm gonna go look that up as soon as we get off.
No,
the air.
you absolutely have to look it up. One of the things that you don't have to look up is the fate of Matt Gaetz's best pal, Mr. Greenberg, who has filed a change of plea. He was insisting he was not guilty. He has filed a guilty plea. And anybody who thinks that Matt Gaetz isn't sweating his little britches off right now is awfully confused. Awfully confused. Because when your boy, who you Venmo'd to pay at least one underage sex worker and other entrepreneuring young women who needed their rent and tuition paid,
$1,000.
That's a whole ass
150 transactions.
That is a full-time employee salary,
you
bro.
have to be a sex addict or you are the pimp
Yeah.
Because that don't mean them 70,000 that was. They didn't talk about what was coming in to his Venmo. That just says what he spent. So now,
Right.
y'all can decode the message I put in there: school,
Oh,
food,
food and ice cream.
and ice cream. That was the code.
Those were the codes.
in the Venmo.
Until he started
food
using
and
emojis to include hotel rooms and hearts.
That was the
and,
memos.
and
That was
eggplants.
the memos in the Venmo. School, food,
Food.
and
ice
ice cream got to be some nasty shit.
Oh,
Like
no.
that's got to be code.
Yeah, that
Nasty
sounds
shit.
like
2 congressmen, 1 cup.
like
See,
Sharon finally
only a
got
man-
it.
Only a man would come up with that shit. That's just.
there's a phrase that I want to use, but I'm not. It's really wrong, but yeah, it just sounds like a whole lot of
That's
ice
a
cream
whole lot of freaking
everywhere.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of ice cream. Baskin Robbins stock gonna soar.
Oh my god!
to the moon.
I just feel. All I know, and I won't even say I heard. All I know is he's a big ass cokehead, right?
Yeah.
And forget all the sex that they gonna try to. This man is filth. Okay, filth.
That's
And
5 F's.
I
You got to get one more F in there for the 6 F's.
70,000 and 150 transactions. That's a lot of activity. That's a lot of massage parloring. That's a lot of underage sexing and drinking and drugging. And they made it clear to say all the sex hookups were drug-filled sex hookups.
Oh, the girls who are talking are talking.
Wow.
I wouldn't have done half the
And-
stuff they asked me to do if I wasn't so high on drugs. And they had me
Wow.
with another girl. I never would have done that if I wasn't so high on
Look,
drugs and MDMA.
His
and
indictment, I mean, this thing is serious. All jokes aside, this thing is serious. And his daddy is gangster number 1. Now, I just don't know how.
Ooh, you turned all the way to the side for that one.
Self-obsessed Matt Gaetz is with himself and the world. He reminds me of somebody that would just go out like a pump.
Yeah.
Hey.
So whatever it takes.
Matt Gaetz did not kill himself.
Chuck will have meatloaf and mashed potatoes that day.
Yeah, it's tight on that.
with a side of Caesar salad.
Yeah,
Royal
that
fish.
sounds delicious. Yeah, I
We'll have
won't
a
lose
royal
any sleep.
feast. We'll have a royal feast day.
No doubt about it.
This is a test of privilege.
Mm-hmm.
When your biff, your pimp, your handler, your smack dealer, your ice cream cone man. I'm looking every time I see an ice cream cone now. I'm gonna have.
Don't ruin ice cream for me because that's what I was gonna do when I got off the show tonight.
When he said double scoop on the cone.
He's your buddy, he's your Fratty, he's that pimp out in the alley.
It reminded me of Chupala
He's
Huevos
your
de King
pusher.
Kong.
Right?
Just-
Want some ice cream?
Sharon came out in the full-on Google Translate. Rincon.
All I thought of was Chupala Huevos de King Kong. That's all I thought. Every now and then, I show you my heritage.
That's right. Oh, look at her. She fancy. She extra fancy tonight.
Oh, Father God.
Father
Father
God.
God.
So, Sharpies. Ooh, it went quiet in the comments. What happened?
That's because they're thinking about what y'all saying.
Yep. They having a good time.
KJ said, Tom, I can't with Tom. And Anthony turned. This has been a big song night for me. That's like 4 or 5 songs I've been doing already. Here's a quick thing. Mississippi's Republican-dominated state Supreme Court just struck down Initiative 65, which 73% of voters approved in 2020, and the state's entire ballot initiative process. That means popular ballot campaigns to expand Medicaid and create early voting are now dead. This is what they're doing Every vote counts unless it's something the Republicans don't want. And I don't know why I should be
conservative
surprised.
white vote
What
counts.
state?
Exactly. This is Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
M I
But they-
crooked letter
they're the
I,
only state
crooked
still
letter,
killing black
crooked
people.
letter I, humpback I. That was for you P Valley people.
Yeah, emphasis on the crooked and the humping.
Well,
Child.
and with a cousin. I
I'm
didn't
just
say
saying. I'm just saying. But just to be serious for a second, all of these voter restrictions, if you can't, they say if you can't beat them, join them. But we can absolutely beat them. What they're doing is easy to circumvent. It takes planning. It takes patience. It takes a little bit of practice runs, figure out where you're going to go, how you're going to do it, and get around this. But that means we've got to start figuring out voting plans for primaries like a year in advance. How are we going to do this? And then they're going to come up with some other bullshit like a couple of months before the election season comes up. Okay, now, don't forget that our recent ancestors had to memorize the whole Constitution.
Oh, yeah.
In order to vote, and they did it, so we can figure out how to get our snacks in our book bag and our bottle of water, and pee in a plastic bag if you got to, or pee on a crazy white people phone, whatever you want to do. But just remember that you've got to be ready for whatever comes your way, because we are not going to be silenced by these little bullshit tactics. They got to come stronger than this, and like we've all said, roll up on a Democratic Fulton County precinct. If you want to, Proud Boy, that will be FAFO that night. Fuck around, find out if you want to. Come in here, little Ray Ray and them, see how they do you, because that ain't what you want. No kind of that smoke. But I still feel like everything that they're doing, they know that it's within the letter of the law. We can do the same within the letter of the law. Oh, we can't give away water, but I can sell it for a penny. Or I can just leave a bucket up here by the door, and all of us in line. You know how we do when we get together. How you gonna tell me I'm not in line when I'm doing the Harlem Shuffle with 11 other people? Oh, I dropped my bottle of water. Somebody pick it up. We got ways to get around all this kind of stuff. We've got ways to make sure our elderly are able to make it to the polls and vote. It's going to take more effort from everyone. So instead of me having just my I voted tag, you're gonna catch me FaceTiming or driving people to the polls with whatever gas I got left. But we've got to make sure, get all the Greeks, all 100 black men, all of the links, and all the other like small, the organizations, the nonprofits, et cetera, Jack and Jill, Top Teens, whatever it is in your area. Make sure everybody with a driver's license need to be taking somebody else to a poll, find out where all the early voting is going to be and wear that shit out. Go ahead and ask for time off from your job.
Yeah.
The day that you need to go early vote, so it ain't no problems when you get closer. Ask for that stuff in January. We can beat this. We can beat them at their own game. And then when all of this stuff is passed, they got all the little restrictive rules in place and they still come out losing. Shut the fuck up. You ain't winning anything else. There's nothing for you to complain about now. Oh, you said it was fraudulent. Let's put your little stupid rules in place. You still losing. Now you're just a loser, like you've been this whole time, and get over it finally. Or you want to start a war? Try to see how they go for you too.
Georgia got them shook.
Yo, yeah, Georgia got them shook.
If we had to really
shookity shook,
put a pin in it, the state of Georgia
and Kool-Aid. That's what I'm talking about.
Has them. That'll just give them a diabetes attack in line. Then we don't have no damn excuse to have to rush to the hospital.
If you can wear a hydration backpack to homecoming, you can wear a hydration backpack to vote. Damn it!
Oh yeah.
Plus, it'll keep you cool. Get them ice up in there. Get you about 2-3 quarts of water in your little backpack, and then you can.
Tom, you just broke it down. Like when I'm at homecoming, it's funny. There's some similar traits to FAMU's homecoming and Spellhouse's homecoming, but a little different in some regards, and only one regard, which is that tailgate. And Tom and Sharon, we're gonna have y'all whenever the Rona makes it right. Y'all gonna have to come up and kick it with me and Joy at Spellhouse homecoming, and we have to do a set out there under the tent.
Yes.
And then
I dreamt that, Chuck.
Huh?
I dreamt that.
Yeah,
no,
seriously.
I dreamt a platform in the parking lot of Bragg Stadium, and the four of us doing a live remote in the Bragg Stadium parking lot.
Absolutely.
Well, that sounds like Joy, you need to come down because we're gonna be at homecoming. All three of us gonna be at FAMU.
She already said it's time to road trip. The master
road trip. It's end of October. We gonna be good.
We need to come do a dry run this summer.
But
My
and
best
Sharon,
friend's
to
Olympian. I'm
Joy's
trying to get
point, to Joy's point, we stand on our feet all day out there. Like I usually get out there to the campus around 11:30 noon,
Right.
and I'm still drunk and or high from the contact.
High from the people.
Yeah, like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And I remember one year I went and took about an hour and a half nap in the Ray Charles Center. went in there to to urinate and saw a couch and was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here for a second. And then next thing I knew, it was almost 2 hours later. I was like, whoa, let me go find the crew. But yeah, if you can do that, you can go vote. You can stand in a voting line and you'll be just fine. So
bring a radio, bust out the electric
got put your headphones on, cut the excuses, and we got to get it done. That's what we have to do.
Bring a book. That's right.
But be ready. That's my point. We can
do
it.
And if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Exactly.
That's sugar free. Y'all remember Sugar Free? Sugar Free was a bomb. He only had like 4 or 5 songs I knew, but that his perm was laid. He was a real pimp. Arrived with 50 Uncle Nearest on deck. Is that what you said, Al? Is that what you sipping on, Al? You got the Uncle Nearest on deck?
Chuck has had on deck all day.
See, of course, the big difference at FAMU Homecoming is
that 1820, the 1820.
Oh, you got the 1820 now.
Yeah, nothing like it. Take a sip with y'all on air.
Oh,
he's had it on deck all day.
You can get you a conch fritter at FAMU Homecoming.
Ooh, I miss those.
You can't.
What you know about them conch fritters, Joy?
Oh man, I love them. They used to be so good. I haven't had one since I left Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right, Jason. The issue with the voting lines is work, and folks are concerned about having their checks messed up. But what that means is that if your work is your issue, you need to make sure that you have everything together.
Thank you.
So, there still is early voting. They haven't eliminated all of the early voting. They've eliminated a lot of the early weekday voting during work hours, but that just means you need to be ready on the early weekend voting to make sure that you get in there. No excuses. Just go on the first one. Go on the first Saturday. If you can't make it on the first Saturday, go on the following Sunday. You have to be a part of the solution. That's how we flipped Georgia. Commitment and effort. If you wait until the end, that's what they're counting on. They're counting on you not being able to get water. They're counting on you not being able to get a Popeye's chicken sandwich in line. They're counting on you not to be able to get some Phillips Ashley turtles. They don't want you to have any of that good stuff. They want you to quit. They want you to be disenchanted and disenfranchised. So you have to be. Oh, wait. Sharon did a quick change. She transformed.
Changes up in here.
That's what I'm saying. Obviously, she was. Her
it's
little
called
drink
menopause.
Oh. Okay. I know you're Costa Rican, but when you do them little screeches, you must be part dolphin too. My God.
That's just my special sound effects.
I don't disagree, Emma. I'm just saying some people have more difficulty than others. I have never had a problem voting during my entire work career because I've always been in a position where the people that I was working with or for appreciated the importance of voting. But there are people who work for people who don't want you voting. And if your employer is a MAGA hat, then your employer is going to dock your pay. And you might not be in a position to be able to lose 6 hours of pay, even if you have a job left when you come back after trying to vote.
That's true.
Because he was able to cast his ballot whenever he wanted to. Or he could go to his suburban polling station where there was no line and cast his ballot in 15 minutes and get back before you had time to come off your smoke break.
This is why planning is important, because everybody got sick
absolutely
days.
Important.
Don't fuck around your sick days for Memorial Day or 4th of July or Juneteenth. Save your sick days and be sick in a mug on Super Tuesday.
That's right. A good point, Joy.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you something else we can do that I have seen work so well just this last week with the fake gas panic crap that was going on, particularly here in Florida. Very fake. What it comes down to is social media was actually one of the reasons that the panic happened in Florida, but social media also was an excellent tool in helping people find out the spots where there was gas, particularly here in the city of Tallahassee. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, maybe like we do poll watching, some of us have to be willing to drive around to the different precincts post on social media, hey, the precinct
your
over
ride
on
is.
Bradfordville Road, ain't no lines. Get on out there, do what you got to do so that the word can filter, so that folks aren't going to those 5 or 6 heavily populated precincts on south side of town in Tallahassee and likewise. You got what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. We need voting ways. We need Apple Maps for voting day. And so you have density. We already know that they are going to minimize polling stations in high urban dense population areas because they want to funnel people toward a log jam. So we have to be strategic in figuring some stuff out and having a plan. Have your little poll watcher reporters. Have little grandma who's retired, get her a little umbrella and sit by the side and say, Ernestine, it's a long line. You better tell the church to turn that bus right back around and go on to the other side now. That's what you need. Get them deacon board ladies, deaconesses. Rachel Maddow just said a piece. No,
if you can get you a handful of Urshas from your nearest Baptist Antioch, St. Jehoshaphat on the rock, heavenly water, deep in the sunshine. I woke up this morning because he was with me, whatever church. If you can find those, the ones with the white gloves,
that's right,
that have never been anything but white, find them and they will get you right. They will get you straight. They'll be in front of the gas station.
Yeah, the type of ushers that can put 30 people on a road that only supposed to seat 15.
Right. You got a lap for Jesus?
Right. My
favorite is when you try to go the other way. Ma'am.
Around.
They don't never let me sit where I want to sit.
I know, right? And people hate it when somebody like me comes down the aisle. They like, oh, this big. This big N-word. He need to get here early, So, yeah, that's always funny.
Yeah, they do say that overindulgence is a sin, Brother Howe.
I know, right? I know. Scooch your skinny butt over.
Oh, so you're going to have a second piece of that sweet potato pie? Yeah. Maybe you need to be here earlier.
Oh, right.
Lord Jesus.
Oh, so
what's next on the agenda, fam? What y'all want to talk about?
Chuck is a little crunk.
Yeah, I ain't gonna
lie. He did take it to the head on camera, so
and off camera.
That means it's been to the head a long time for it to get to that point.
Wait, is this real?
Head and Mohead.
SD Mar says ushers carry tasers. It's service now.
Wow.
Well, in some states, you can carry a gun into church.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, after South Carolina, you might as well carry a taser. Hell, make sure Dylan Roof gets cut off at the knees.
You know what? Our girl Ayana, she has a very good point. Election protection volunteers are always needed.
That's right.
Poll watchers are always needed. There's a lot of places because you'll try to put all the elderly on a bus, and then all of a sudden somebody say, I don't think this bus is safe. I'm not going to let you take all these black people to vote on this bus. And now they got to figure it out. Go, everybody. We do it with the family reunions, right? I'm so-and-so cousin. I'm so-and-so granddaughter child. Okay. Show up to the nursing home. I'm his cousin and I'm her granddaughter child. And I'm taking my relatives to go, hey, auntie, to go vote. I dare you. Oh, you saying we're not related? What? It's because I'm black and just start some shit at the old folks home and then just get your people and get up out of there. Again, this is going to take a whole lot more dedication. A lot of us have shown our support with money, which is good, but we're going to have to get off our asses and drive somewhere and pick people up and show up and volunteer and make bag lunches and go carry the crates of water and everything to give little baggies and stuff to people to help them so they can stay in line. We're going to have to put in some elbow grease this next election round.
You said it.
If they just redo what they did in 2020, I don't want to discount. People worked their asses off.
They did.
Absolutely.
Okay. We 8 million plus on the outcome of that election. Just do that. Okay. Because what they're doing that we are not talking about, we need to stay the course like what we produced in 2020. And they need to keep pissing off their percentage. Because just as I talked about how many percentage of black people they needed, all we need is 10% of their people. And they overshowed up with disgust. And now we done got Liz Cheney, Dick's daughter, leading the fight. All they got to do is keep eroding civilized people on the right, because they co-opting crazies like her successor, who's just a sellout millennial who is just trying to keep her status elevated and just trying to run with the light. These people are unconscionable. Mm-mm. And they absolutely stand for nothing but corruption. And by whatever means necessary, we have to understand that is what they're going to do. And what we have to do is stay the course. Stacey just getting started, and we have to have good candidates on the ballot, up and down, so people have something to vote for.
Yes.
I will tell you this. I am a lot more confident as long as the right Democrat is facing Trump. I think that there are going to be the same percentages or greater of people who abandon Trump who will not support him in 2024. I will say this. There are not going to be very many people with the nuts to really oppose him in the primary. There will be some. It's not going to be a whole bunch of people. It's not going to be 23 people. It's not going to be like some brand new open field. But I'll tell you right now, I hate to say it, but if it ends up being our good sister Harris going up against Trump, that's going to change a lot of the calculations.
She's going to lose.
Yeah, I was about to ask y'all, do y'all think she could beat Trump?
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced, because the thing that allowed a lot of the white voters who abandoned Trump was that they were voting for another white guy, a white guy who was a known quantity that they felt they knew.
This is why I say you need to listen to black women, because when a lot of the little young woke crowd was mad at their grandmamas for voting for Biden in the primary, like, y'all don't have any faith in just y'all stuck in your old ways. Y'all was looking for some old white man to save you. Your 80-year-old grandmother, she knows the whites and she knows how they get down. I knew in my heart, as much as I was feeling the burn, too radical, as much as I loved Elizabeth Warren, she ain't about to do it. I liked Kamala Harris, but I knew she didn't have the support and she didn't have the legs on her campaign. Joe was the only one that could go toe to toe with him. And if you look at the way, that Trump debates, Joe was the only one that could get away with saying, "Would you shut up, man?" without anybody else saying anything about it. It had to be white guy to white guy to beat Trump. Now if they can find somebody to knock him out of the next primary, then it'll be a different story. But if it ends up being Trump again, we're gonna have to come with something really, really strong from a Democratic standpoint. It cannot be. Unfortunately, it'll be very, very hard to sell a minority or woman to those moderates who don't want to be racist but just keep doing racist things. It's going to be hard to sell it to them, and that's that margin of error that we've got to be able to pull to keep Trump out of office. And so
we have to prevail as an ideology, and goodness has to prevail first in 2022. 2022 can upset everything we can imagine for 2024. Because if their level of deceit, like they're one step away from just a total civil war, trying to reenact slavery. I mean, they're just they are all for it. They are doing stuff that is, they're trying to whitewash, if they had the audacity to say, they're trying to whitewash the insurrection. We're not dealing with stable-minded people.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I fear I am not ready to debate who our candidate's going to be in 2024. But what I am concerned most about is what happens in 2022 from our safety.
Right.
Yeah.
And how many people have they co-opted that are military and police? And what is their next coup that they are planning? Because what they've done thus far hasn't intimidated anybody that looks like us.
I'll say this.
It hasn't. They've intimidated each other.
Yeah.
But they haven't intimidated POCs.
The best way to deflate Donald Trump is to defeat every candidate he endorses in 2022. Because if they lost, Cory Gardner lost the Colorado Senate seat to Hickenlooper by 9 points after Trump came out for him. That's your guy, Colorado. And so, lost both those Senate seats in Arizona, lost both those Senate seats in Georgia. So if people on the right start to see electoral consequences to playing his game, that's going to affect his power. 2022 is vitally important. Y'all, the midterms, this is what completely undid, not completely, this had a lot of impact on Obama's ability to get anything done. In the latter 6 years, because you all said, we got him in.
Yeah.
And 2020 rolled around. He got health care. He expended every erg of political capital he had, pulling those cats together, getting Joe Lieberman in line, getting everybody in line, trying to run it through. And then you all said, we don't care, and let them have the House. And then they got the Senate, and it was a wrap.
Yeah,
we
no
cannot
doubt.
do that. It is a razor thin margin in the House and the Senate. We have got to come out in general election numbers in 2022. It's a whole year and a half from now. Get your planning together.
No doubt about it.
I want to go back to something that Anthony Turner said a little while ago. Voting is not a high school popularity contest. Yes, it is.
Ooh.
Absolutely is. Here's the thing. We would like it not to be.
Right.
And we can sit here because this is a bubble. Let's be real. You're looking at all multiple degree college educated Black people with ends to into politics, into law, into diversity and inclusion, into entertainment. We have knowledge that a lot of people don't have. Our audience has knowledge that a lot of people don't have. By and large, ever since the beginning of this country, it has been a popularity contest. If you look at the election, what was it? Was it Warren G. Harding? The first time that women were able to vote, he went out on a "I'm the sexiest bitch up here" platform, and his character and his charisma convinced a lot of women to vote for him. If you go back to the 90s with Bill Clinton, you can almost look at the tick up in his popularity when he did that saxophone stunt on late night television. So it is a popularity contest. I would like them to have, so this goes into, okay, I'm about to get real nerdy on you. This goes into how people make decisions. Most people's decision making comes from their amygdala, which is your emotional center. You make emotional decisions. We like to use our brains to back them up with scientific fact, with a rationale, with numbers and everything. It's like buying a car. You buy this car because it's sexy, red, shiny, candy apple paint. And then you show your parents all of the J.D. Morgan and Associates nonsense and all of the speed, the safety parameters, and it's rated number 1. You don't care about all that. You want this candy apple red, and your mind has already made that decision, and now you're trying to back it up with facts. We do the same thing in elections. We see a character that we like them for whatever reasons, and then we decide, I'm going to find pieces of his or her platform that match with what I like because I already like this person. I did it earlier with Andre Dickens. I am going to, unless somebody gives me another good reason, I'm going to vote for him for mayor of Atlanta. But he might have some skeletons I don't know nothing about. And then I'm going to have to make that rational choice, even though my irrational mind has already picked him, because it is a popularity contest. And it's always that. The trick is to be popular and smart. Popular and be able to pull votes, popular and be able to fundraise. Part of the fundraising efforts is based on your popularity. So we like to think that we've evolved past that, and that we have all of this education and able to look at the platforms and able to look at what people stand for and their values and et cetera. But it does come down to, do we just like them? Do we want to go have a beer with them? That's how George W. Bush HW got elected.
That's how Donald Trump got elected.
No. Donald Trump got elected by being white and a serial sexual offender, a multiple bankrupter who can't string a sentence together, and happened to be white after a black man won. People liked him, but people liked him because of his BS.
Because he was on a reality TV show. The same reason they elected Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay. he was a movie star.
Right.
White women told us overwhelmingly. Black women told me. The few that I have had the disdain to know, I just like his bravado. I liked how he was the boss. I liked how he fired people.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his money. People didn't care. I mean, if they
got
actually,
no money.
But he painted the picture. Everything Joy said is on point. He painted the picture. He gave people their fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched a lot of those debates. I know we all did, but I watched every single one. And he was the dumbest person on stage every time.
It didn't matter.
He was the person who was the conservative the least amount of time. He was going against other opponents who had been in the Republican Party their whole lives. He had been a Democrat the majority of his, and had even contributed to Kamala Harris's Attorney General campaign, wrote glowing statements and contributed to Hillary Clinton's campaign. So this was no long time. But people, like you all are saying, were titillated by him and the jokes. And unfortunately, CNN and MSNBC calling them out. They were complicit too in regards to giving him all kind of airplay and letting his sound bites get on loop over and over again. Whereas the serious men and women in that race, the Fiorinas, the John Kasich of the Republican Party, even to a lesser extent, the Marco Rubios. I mean, I've fallen in out of favor with him since he lost his own spine and balls and started, following Trump just to go along to get along. But these were men and women who, if you listen to them 5 years ago, were far superior to Trump in regards to being able to break down conservative principles or a vision for America. And yet here he was on stage basically being the court jester, making jokes and you're bleeding out of your ears or something. And people are ha 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 little Marco. And they ate that shit up. And
the class clown.
But let's be clear.
He was the class clown.
Yeah, he was the class clown.
But also, let's be clear. When they saw those people you named, Fiorina and all these other people, when they saw that what he was peddling was working, they betrayed every original principle they had to jump on that train. And what happened then is they were considered inconsequential and inauthentic because they just started saying that stuff because they had a more traditional point of view before, but they only tried to talk Trumpian when Trump was the one who was making it famous and making it work.
This is true.
That they weren't. You can say what you want to. You can say that Marco Rubio is objectively more intelligent, but when he chose to betray his intelligence, when Ted Cruz chose to betray his wife and his daddy to suck up to Trump, there are no people except Liz Cheney who had the balls to literally stand up and face some consequences for pushing back against him. Everybody else, even Kevin McCarthy, who thought the winds were blowing the other way in the immediate aftermath of January 6th, even Mitch McConnell, who thought the winds were blowing the other way on January 19th, as soon as he gave that fiery speech, which was the most aggressive speech I think McConnell has ever made against a Republican, ever in his entire political life, it wasn't a week before he basically walked it all back. And I would vote for him again. So when you have no principle, and Trump has no principles, but Trump's principle is I'm going to say whatever I want to say whenever I say it, and the people who are real acolytes of his go with that. That is his spine, the fact that he moves wherever he wants. He's nimble. The others are spineless. And that's the challenge of the GOP. There is no one legitimately to stand up against him because they've all betrayed themselves as now being sycophants. How are you going to stand up against Trump when you licking his asshole? I said it. I said it. Hashtag chocolate tongue.
Oh, man. Joy.
I know you got to stop for a second and just
go on ahead and stop.
Exhale. Get the Febreze.
If y'all saw how I was like old school like milk pumping this box of wine to get the last bit of this. It's gonna come out of here. I'm gonna get the rest of this.
Pump, pump, bump on my box full of wine. Pump, pump,
Dirty.
pump on my box full of wine. Oh, you look
I
at you!
told
You
you
got a
mama
whole little
glass
half. You got a whole little half a glass out there.
She know how to shake the bottom.
I had something really.
Get the sage.
I know that's right. I had something really crass that I was gonna say in the aftermath of that, but I decided chocolate tongue is as far as I need to go today.
Thank you. Help me. Help the
Believe you me, Joy. I'll tell you in the after show.
We'll talk
it
about
was
it backstage.
nasty.
Bless your heart. I tell you.
Need to bleach to wipe that stain. Yes, you are right.
children. Yep.
Or at least a very powerful light. I understand there's a light.
You can put the light in the body.
In your body in some way.
I mean, Trump already thinks he shoots sunlight out his asshole anyway.
Oh,
Please, can somebody please listen? I don't care if it's the sexual. I don't care if it's Amber or Summer Zergos or whatever, or the lady that he assaulted in that store, or any of the other 32 people, or anybody who has 3,600 lawsuits against him, or the tax stuff. I don't care. Get him in Litchfield prison. Please, just get him in there.
I'm going to say, in New York looking for him. How come they ain't arrested him yet?
Well, they haven't issued the things. And like I said, DeSantis is trying to shield him. That's your boy.
no extradition within the United States.
Within the United States.
That sounds absolutely
Doesn't that sound
ridiculous.
crazy?
This is what happens when you watch too many
Jesus.
movies on Netflix. You start thinking that you can operate that way. This is not Queen of the South.
Florida's gonna secede. No extradition treaty.
We're gonna call our National Guard out
Exactly.
to fight the federal government. You know, crazy. January
They
6th
probably would
happened.
try that though.
So
Crazy is as crazy does.
okay, I'm sad. Let me go make sure my passport is current. It's current.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Them loan payments coming due.
Because I think I'm gonna have to fly to Jamaica because that's a quick, and then fly from Jamaica over back to my other motherland, Costa Rica. Because this is just
Chuck,
too
this
much.
is a question for you. Why is it taking so long to charge him?
You know, the interesting thing about that is, you know, we talk about this from time to time, Joy. The feds are methodical with a capital M, slow. So when they finally ring your doorbell, because like Sharon talks about and I talk about, they'll ring your doorbell to look for shit. But when they come to get you, they got you. They don't do like a lot of state court prosecutors do. You know, you can win a lot of times in state court because they'll, you know, not all the time, but there are times that they will jump and they weren't quite ready. I's weren't dotted, T's weren't crossed. When the feds come and get you, they got you. And better than 90, I think the last time I saw the stat, better than 95% of federal cases end in pleas because they got you. And it's brutal. I have sat in those debriefing rooms with clients, and it's like the old Roberta Flack, killing me softly. You know, I read each one of those letters out loud. They're sitting there, you sitting, your lawyer sitting here, client sitting there, DEA or FBI agents over there, and they're just sliding the information. You know, so for instance, if we wanted to hypothesize about Matt Gaetz, I could envision Matt Gaetz and his lawyers sitting in one of those rooms, and here come the Venmo transcripts, and here come the email transcripts, and
the videos.
This is your phone number, isn't it? That's your phone number, correct, Congressman Gaetz? You know, and you're sitting there and you realize they got me. And so you wind up entering a plea because in the federal system, unlike most state court systems, you get points for pleading and cooperating and acceptance of responsibility. And you get screwed if you don't cooperate and don't accept responsibility. So for instance, in state court, you can run it up the hill. You can try the case. And if you lose, judge can't hold that you exercise your right to go to trial against you. In federal court, they will hold that against you, which is not only were you guilty, but you wasted our time by bringing this BS case. And so we're going to tax you for that too. So that's what's taking so long. They are dotting I's, crossing T's. When we talked last week about Rudy Giuliani, that's probably one of the most important happenings that there is, because to me that was a signal of, yeah, it's Giuliani, but it's not. If you get where I'm coming from, they are trying to figure out a way to turn him, and once they will turn him if they have enough to get him. He'll turn, because he's 74, 75.
Yeah,
he's not going to want to go to prison.
He's a former mayor of New York. He don't want to go to jail.
He's going to be in there. Donald, Eric, Melania, Ivanka.
Mr. Stop and Frisk. He don't take his ass to jail.
Yeah, he's going to tell it all when his time comes. So just stay tuned, y'all.
That's where I think Trump made a mistake, because like when Giuliani was like, "Hey, boss, help me out," he was like, "I'm not with him. I don't know you."
I don't understand that either, Joy. I don't get that.
Why would you leave somebody who knows all your dirt exposed? Understand that if I ever run for office, all my friends getting houses and cars.
Right.
That day.
Same with Michael Cohen. I was surprised he shunned Mike Cohen a couple years ago. I was like, wow. Well, not really surprised. He was president, so he was, shielded from a lot of foolishness. But it still was reckless for him to turn on his henchmen, so to speak.
He going to jail.
But you have to understand, y'all. The reason he didn't pardon Giuliani is that he thought up until January 21st
he was about to win.
He was still going to be president.
That's true.
That's what it was.
So that's a good point.
That's what it was. He didn't think he needed to pardon any of the real people.
Tom,
right.
He still think he's gonna be president.
Well,
right.
And somebody noted that there is not a single piece of paper that has come out of anything Trump that says former president. Everything says 45th president.
Yep.
He has not let go of the notion. That's what he's talking about. The dominoes are about to fall. Ain't nothing changing in Arizona.
Yeah, man.
Do you know that? There's nothing changing. The cyber ninjas aren't doing anything. Nothing. Now, and the GOP, what's worst about it is that the GOP has still enacted these draconian laws because of the suspicion that something happened when nothing did. And so this is what is really amazing to me about this whole sequence of events. All of this stuff is coming down. And to Chuck's point, Joy, if they take him, indict him, and they don't have it airtight, you best believe it's going to be some MAGAs like running a Mission Impossible 3 mission to get him out of that damn truck. Like when they stopped him on the Florida Keys and picked up the damn truck with a helicopter and flew it off and had to... It needs to be, no pun intended, Trump tight.
Trump tight. Mm-hmm.
And, it's got to be, sorry, with your resources, you could go anywhere in the world, so we got to keep you. Maybe you can stay in Trump Tower with armed guards outside the door or whatever. He probably got some garbage chute that slides him all the way into New Jersey or something. But he's got to stay in custody. But if
they could put Bernie Madoff away,
right,
and Bernie not in jail, that actually gave me a little hope.
Oh, it's Weisselberg. We haven't even mentioned the accountant. That's the real one.
But they trying to mess him up now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And his daughter-in-law.
He will never flip. He's not.
No,
because he's got just as much to lose.
It's his children, though. His son doesn't have as much to lose, and the ex-wife is dropping all the business. Oh yeah, it was $50,000 a year times 2 kids to go to this private school, and we never wrote the check. Oh, that was unreported income? That was $500,000 in unreported. That we never filed on the taxes?
I did enjoy what people don't understand this wire transfer and the shit that they actually get convicted for.
Right.
People really don't understand how non-specific, non-obvious, almost seemingly irrelevant. Like, you went to jail for that? Yeah.
Al Capone did not go to jail for killing people.
No.
Tax.
Al Capone went to jail for tax. Wesley Snipes, Passenger 57 and Blade, went to jail over tax. The IRS, they are like the Borg. The IRS gives this many fucks. Zero.
You don't want no smoke.
They hate me.
Run me my money.
They hate me.
Run me my check.
I intentionally overpay the IRS. Y'all motherfuckers, look, they be like, we got to mail this bitch back. This kind of check? Yep. I call the IRS my savings account.
Yep.
I'm just like,
speaking
like
of which, I know
that
Sharon, speaking of which, I know that we didn't put it in the chat. I know we're coming close on time, but I don't know if y'all peeped. I don't know if y'all are seeing this on your social media feeds, but some of the funniest stuff that I read this week was some of my local friends, and not just Facebook friends, but folks I've known for most of my life have been going in on it. I can't even say it without kind of chuckling a little bit on the PPP loans. There's some nasty shade that's getting thrown out where basically for our followers, for our viewers and Sharpies, basically what folks are saying is that there are folks who went and applied and got big money off the PPP and didn't even much own a business. And that, it's just a matter of time before, the feds start knocking on that door. Like, we need y'all to give us that money back. Or not even give us the money back. You're under arrest and you have a right to remain silent. And so what was crazy is the other day, now these were all legit. I can't actually, correcting myself, I can't say it's all legit. But the Tallahassee Democrat ran an article and had a link to the SBA. And you could look on that link and see everybody in Tallahassee, every business, every individual who got the PPP loans. And it was thick as hinds. There were, and the only thing that I have no problems with it, I didn't participate in it last year. I kind of kicked myself because I kind of procrastinated. And now I'm seeing that some of the most well-funded, at least what you would think, businesses, law firms, churches, and what have you in Tallahassee were getting to the tune of $1 million, 1.5, 2.6 million off the PPP. It was, and what was really tripping me out was some of these business owners and law firm managing partners are staunch Republicans who are constantly railing about socialism, constantly dogging out welfare recipients. And I'm sitting here like, well, will you look here at whose firm got $600,000 and whose firm got 1.2? And I was like, damn hypocrites, So just y'all stay tuned on this one. This is a developing story that I think we're gonna have to come back to. But my eyes got big as saucers looking at some of the names on that list of some of these staunch anti-socialism Republicans who were first and not last in line, first in line, because the article also was
because all these local ass banks was giving the money away.
Yes, Sharon, when they were getting disbursements like last March and last April. I mean, right off rip, millions coming, and I'm like, wow. It just, again, it goes to show that when it comes to the game, they talk. A lot of them, particularly talking about Republicans, will talk one way, but deep down inside, in real time here, we have evidence that they will put their hands out and think nothing of taking that taxpayer money. That they'll besmirch everybody else.
Call it welfare.
Where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside. But wait, can we talk about Trump just again for a second?
Wait,
Emma put this in the go ahead, Joy.
Before we finish, get off this, can I play a video that's related to the PPP loan?
Yes, absolutely.
In case you haven't seen this is off Jay Jackson's Instagram account, and I think it matches what Chuck is saying.
What you doing? What all that cash? What that cash? 20 bands. How you get that? From a scam. So you apply for a loan. If you go to jail, please don't drop the soap. You scared me. Blue acorn. The money supposed to be for payroll. These people lying about they federal taxes and they think it's sweet. Yeah, it's sweet till they make you pay it all back. Yeah. I know something was strange. Every dollar you make coming straight from the fraud. So if you work a regular job, tell me how you got that loan then. Tell me how you got
Man, let me tell you.
Oh man, that video
Why
was
that song riding
hilarious.
out though?
Oh yeah,
That thing is tight.
oh yeah, and I mean he had the little.
Right.
That
thing was live.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, Bruno Mars mad somewhere right now. Shout out to Bruno Mars and the rest of the group that made that original song "Leave the Door Open."
That should have
How'd
been
you get that sweet
golden. He needs to do that on SNL for real.
for real.
Let's on a serious note.
Girl.
On a serious note, when Chuck talk about there's a link,
Mm-hmm.
and if you are somebody who got a PPP and you didn't need it or did not obtain it in the fashion, this is your public service announcement. Get the money back now.
Right.
I hope you
Payback.
kept it in a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
You will get caught.
You put that Mercedes on Craigslist.
It may be a year, maybe 2 years, may even be 5 years. The feds know how to get their money.
Mm-hmm.
They will come for you.
They
over
are not
$85.
amateurs. They don't care whether you're blue, red, green, purple, or black. If you're playing with the government money, federal, white criminal money, they will catch you. You will know you black, and you will look good in orange.
Mm.
And
'Cause
orange
they will
does not
lock you
look
up.
good with our complexions, really, honestly.
Mm-mm.
They got the Daywalker. You think they can't get you? They got Simon
Al Capone.
Phoenix.
They got Al Capone. They will
Al
find
Capone, Wesley Snipes.
you.
got-
$5.
Okay.
That's your ass.
So
Run me my money.
speaking of people whose ass they got, Emma put this in the comments. Y'all know that Don McGahn has agreed to testify in closed door testimony to
White House
Congress,
attorney.
right? Yes, former White House attorney for the 45th President of the United States, Don McGahn, who also served as the dude who was running the inaugural thing. And the inauguration is where a lot of that, it's not just the scams. The inauguration was his first presidential scam.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was funneling campaign contributions into
hundreds of
double and
millions.
triple charges in hotel space that wasn't worth nan. And as soon as he left out of office, they worth nan now. Get it on Priceline for $0.25. It's like a Tuesday in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get it. Y'all caught up to you finally, right? You got them Thursday,
got no
Friday,
casinos.
Saturday prices. And then as soon as you check out on Sunday, $29 and a free buffet. So
I go to Vegas on Tuesdays.
Don McGahn, and his face is real pinched. But Don McGahn wasn't a Trump acolyte like that. Don
True.
McGahn got the job, and he was like, okay, I got this job. But seeing the writing on the wall, he doesn't
And
want to
that's
have
what I
that
think-
jail door held open.
That's why I think Trump has gone wrong. Is all the loyalty that he demanded from everybody. He ain't been loyal to not nair motherfucker, and all of them were like, "Bruh, but I thought we was cool." Oh, okay, whoa, they about to start singing.
Tell me what you're gonna do. Oh yeah.
Okay, Tom.
Did you see the Proud Boy? The Proud Boy who said, I followed this motherfucker for 4 years.
Yeah.
And he didn't do shit for me. I got friends. We lost it all. And he didn't do nothing for us.
But why does it take these folks so long to figure that out? Like, at what point in time do you realize, man, this dude throws everybody under the bus? And so
Right.
why would you show loyalty to somebody who has shown time and again that he's loyal to no one?
Bus tracks Benny.
Emotional response. You act like okay, so I had a friend when I was in college at Morehouse that messed with most of my friends.
Okay.
And they would say,
Oh, right for the business.
I'm gonna like this story.
I'm not saying no names.
I
All I'm
need
gonna
to
say
hear
is
this story because it probably matches something I could say.
Bro had game. I was immune to it because I was a little sister. So, but like he would come around me because he knew my friends was gullible and stupid, and would be like, I think he really liked me. He don't like you. He don't like you. I'm telling you right now, he don't like you. No, but he's different with me. He's not. He gonna bang you and he ain't gonna call you. I am telling you to your face, he is going to knock it out and he ain't gonna call you no more. No, I think we got something special. He's different with me. He tells you the same thing he tell all them other girls. He asked me if you was banging because he wanted to know if he could hit. And I am telling you this to your face. And he ran through all my friends. And every time they would run. I know that he's different. People believe what they want to believe if it feeds into the fantasy that they have for their own life. And so all of that stuff that they wanted to believe fed into their fantasy. They wanted to have the vision. You know, a lot of girls in college have an insert man here in their little wedding photos and whatnot. He was tall and he fit the bill and he just ran through everybody. And I kept telling them the truth and they didn't want to hear the truth because it was more fun and it was easier to believe the fantasy. And so it's the same thing that's happening with all these Trump supporters. They don't want to hear the truth. Somebody else mentioned that if Trump had been black, all his dirt would have been out before the election. His dirt was out. All of this grab him by the pussy, that came out way before election day. And people still was riding with him because he's different. He's different with me. I just like him. And he said something that I believe, and it's just all lies. And he ran through them. Yeah. Like he ran through everybody else and got their money on the way out. Now he stole $20 out your purse on the way out the door. That's what he did.
It was dudes and fams running that game with a damn payphone. You even had cell phones back when we were in school.
The dorm line, the dorm hall phone,
laying on that cold floor in the little hallway, feet up on the wall.
Where you at?
Where you at? I got this phone.
Right. Yup. Memories.
Trump is a huge player. I mean, I know nobody on the show wants to think about it this way because it sounds gross to you, but he was a sex symbol through the 80s and the 90s. And a whole lot of people still hold on to that idea. He was that guy. What it say? Men want to be him and women want to be with him. He was that dude in the 80s and 90s. You know,
yeah, I have heard women say that. I'm talking about even in the last 5 years, not even back in the 90s. There are people that I was colleagues with or knew that were supporters of him, and they thought he was a sexy septuagenarian. And I'm just like, well, to each his own. It's believe what you want, you know.
And it's beyond his unimaginable sex appeal. There are people that just simply likes his bravado. Yeah, they just. I have met and have repeatedly heard, not even Candace Owens type black women. I have met several black women who unapologetically supported him, and I'm not talking about the masses. I'm just talking about too many. You know, it's unbelievable. People who don't sit around and fraternize or talk politics or you know, an older black woman. I'm talking grandmas and who just simply feel that black is black and white is white and nothing else matters in between. And all these progressive ideals are, you know, bastion. And, you know, it is amazing when you strike up the wrong conversation with somebody that you think is, you know, a little gentle lamb, and they just let you have it on this man.
I'm sorry, Vera.
And white women overwhelmingly will talk about him and will say, look, I never missed an episode of The Apprentice.
He can grab me by the coochie any day.
Yeah, I've seen some of those memes and posters saying just that. Yeah.
And he's birthed a generation. He's birthed he has a millennial following, like the little crazy number 3 chick now. He's got all these white. I'm tired of feeling guilty about being white. I'm tired of feeling
that I understand.
And that's a huge following.
Oh yeah, because he has no shame. He has no shame at all.
Because it's secret ballot. Let's bring it to landing. Let's bring it to landing.
Ron did have a little glow up
at our level. In secret ballot, 75 million
Mm-hmm.
mofos
Mm-hmm.
voted for him.
Mm. That's a lot of people.
70, with
Mhm.
everything that we know, with everything that we experienced, with everything that we digested for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
When you had an opportunity, you had a private ballot opportunity to do the right thing, to save this country, you felt it was necessary to put him back in office.
Yeah.
But
75 million.
But a lot of that,
strong.
is Starbelly Sneetches. Our country became so polarized. It did not matter what kind of asshole he was, what kind of liar he was, because everybody else was other. There was no choice because the only other choice was
Let me tell you
other.
something. When I go into my caboodle, my cubicle,
That's right.
when I get to pull my little invisible curtain, at that point is you and your morality.
They could have voted for Kanye.
Thank you. At that point, it's you and your being. It's you and your purpose. All the everything, and you bring all of that. You know what? At the end of the day, white is right.
That's what it is.
You know what?
Well,
At
again,
the end of the day,
Yeah.
Joe Biden is going to be, he's too in bed with them niggers. Okay?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't want no black woman vice president. I don't want no woman, period. In no place. I don't want no menstruation in the White House.
And I'm tired of
I'm
apologizing.
thinking about all of I don't want to feel guilty
Yeah.
about my motherfucking privilege.
Yeah.
Okay. I think about all of that. You
Preach
had a
it, man.
choice to
Preach.
walk up in that damn place,
Amen.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And be a civilized human being. What's best for society? What's best for your children? And 75 million of them characters said he was best.
but we're not actually disagreeing, Sharon.
I'm not saying we are. I'm just saying I want you to we too quick. We are full of privilege. I made money during coronavirus. That shit that ain't okay. It's not okay that people felt like it was justifiable.
Yeah.
To vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
And Sharon, to add to what you're saying, what they do, this is something I have read in articles. I have seen it a lot because I'm still friends, y'all, on social media with a lot of GOPers. Not as many as I used to be. I mean, because the Sharpies and all of my very brilliant friends on this panel and elsewhere have run some of the worst ones off through the years. I should have kept screenshots of some of the inboxes I got before people like, Chuck, I'm blocking you because of that damn Tom Cunningham but I'm just joking. But I'm not joking. But yeah,
I will make that my wallpaper.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Shit.
What it comes down to, though, I'm telling y'all, it's crazy, right? But what it is let me tell you how the ones who I'm still friendly with or friends with, actually, some of them I'm actually real life friends with, what they've done to assuage what Sharon's talking about. They know deep down inside that guy wasn't about shit. All right. They know that he's a racist. But what they do is, sometimes he'd say things that make me cringe. Sometimes he'd say things that just were beyond the pale. But he did blah, 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 blah that I liked about X, Y, Z, and the third. And so what that comes back to is, I got this from Game of Thrones, Ned Stark. Ned Stark was fond of saying, and his kids repeated, everything that gets said after the butt is bullshit.
Right.
No, everything before the butt is bullshit. So basically, when he's talking about, no, it's bullshit. What it is you like him because of A, B, C. And so with that in mind, we see through that too. Sharon, that was brilliant. You broke it down. I mean, they chose white privilege over being decent. And a lot of blacks who chose adjacency to white privilege, because again, that's a whole other show we can have someday about a whole lot of black Republicans who know that it's all bullshit, but they want their empowerment zone money. They want the money funneled to their 501c3. They want the money funneled to their churches, so they'll say whatever bullshit they have to say to make massa like them so that they can keep the faucet turned on with those grants and money and being adjacent to these overseers and massa. So it's very fascinating.
For a sellout.
Exactly.
So this right here, they're creating their own version of history to mitigate institutionalized racism, like slavery was a labor dispute and so on. You know, that is absolutely true. They're trying to erase it.
God,
you know, there was a push about 15, 20 years ago to deny, you know, you started all these Holocaust deniers that never happened. It's just some propaganda made up. Show me proof. Well, show me the bodies. You really want me to just dig up some mass graves in Germany? You out your motherfucking mind with that. But people wanted to believe that people that they were related to were not bad. And you see the same thing here. I've seen the Daily Show does a really good job of pulling up on these Trump rallies and interviewing people. And they interviewed some folks that were like talking about Civil War reenactments and everything. And they were like, oh, yeah, they didn't beat their slaves. Think about it. Why would you, if someone is working your fields and making you money, you're going to treat them nice so that they keep doing it. There may have been a few people that beat their slaves because they were just terrible people, but it wasn't widespread. And, you know, that's just a lie that the liberals have come up with to divide this country. I'm like, have you ever read a slave anthology of any sort? Have you seen any slave movie? You think we're just making all this up? There's pictures of men whose backs are numb to feeling from all the scarring, but you think that's a one-off. And that they want to think that way because they're related to somebody who owns somebody, and they don't want to think that that bad blood is in them, but guess what? It is. And so the best thing you can do is just recognize that, yeah, my great-great-great-grandfather did some bullshit, but I am going to live a better life. They never pick that route.
What's so hard about that, Joy? That's exactly what I'm trying to get at. We all have aspects. If you talk long enough with the elders or look into it, there's certain things that you might not be proud of. It might be you had a granddaddy to beat your grandmama, or unfortunately, in a lot of families, I'm not trying to trigger anybody, but you had an uncle or a granddaddy that might have molested your mama and your niece or your cousin. I mean, it's if we're gonna be real, but it doesn't mean that you're like, well, that's still my grandfather and I'm gonna love him and I'm gonna support him and I'm gonna you realize granddaddy was on that bullshit, and I might not speak about it in public, but I'm also not gonna prop him up as like a paragon of virtue either because he was on that bullshit. Y'all feeling what I'm feeling
what you're saying. You know, something that Greg is saying here, this their version of being a superior race, ethnic group, it absolutely goes back to white supremacy. If white supremacy is the core of who you think you think you're better than me because of your skin, and then you have to admit that everybody with your skin color has done some atrocious bullshit for 400 years, including killing people last week, then it gives lie to the idea that you're better than anybody. If anything, y'all are some violent, cannibalistic, raping your sisters. Like, it's a whole lot of shit that white people be doing. Not all, but there's a whole lot of them that can be culpable of this type of thing, which gives lie to the idea that they as a race are better. There's not even a real thing. Right? White and black was invented by a Portuguese anthologist when he was talking about what he saw in Guinea. He's like, these black-skinned people are brutish and greasy. You know why they're greasy? Because they know where the butters are. You should try some shea butter. You ashy
ankle.
Right. Amen.
Right, but all of these ideas of there being, this dark continent with these dark brutish people. 1450, Gomez de Urara, I think his name was. He worked for Henry the Navigator, and they started that whole bullshit about black and white. So all these people that wonder why Hispanic and Portuguese-speaking people will say that they're white, because they started that shit. It started in Portugal, and it spread to Spain and Europe and the rest of it. So you were no longer Dutch, British, French, etc. You were white because all the people below decks were black, and they were no longer Nigerian or Sudanese or Ghanaian or whatever. They were just from that dark continent. We're doing them a favor by taking them over here to give them something good to do with their lives. All of this starts because you have to be able to justify what you're doing to another human being. And the easiest way to do it is to stop seeing them as a human being. And all of that starts with, we're superior to them. This is their lot in life, as God intended
Yeah.
And so you roll that forward 150, 200 years, it's been a part of how this country was founded, that Black people were always supposed to be underneath, less than, lower than, and then all the additional, because at this point, coming into like the 1800s, any Hispanics coming into the United States or any people coming to islands are already mixed with Black blood from all of the slavery that went on in Brazil and Middle America, etc. So now they're like, oh, y'all not white neither. Matter of fact, anybody coming up through Mexico, as far as Texas is concerned, is a Mexican. I don't care if you came from Guatemala. I don't care if you came from Venezuela.
You had to walk through Mexico.
It makes you Mexican. And so all of this delineation on skin color keeps white people feeling superior, but you can't be superior when the majority of the people who commit mass murder are in your race. So you have to make excuses. Oh, he's just a troubled young kid. Oh, he just had, problems with his family, or, he had a struggle home life. It's so many Black kids with a struggle at home and having a bad home life that ain't shot up not naring folks.
Never.
You bring a gun to school this because we're trying to shoot Leroy. We ain't trying to shoot everybody else.
Because he tried me. Right.
So, not
because of, you're right.
I just want to ask the Sharpies, when was the last time you heard a history lesson about 1400s Portuguese racists on The View? You can put that in the chat.
Amen.
You got to get Joy's history lesson. We got to do a graphic for Joy's history lesson, because when she gets on one, I just need to trigger it. Yeah. Joy's history lesson.
I think she's had 2 tonight.
You got to get a bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
Darren got hers in tonight too. Yeah,
that's right.
True that.
We gonna pass the collection plate. Look to your ushers on your left and on your right.
The Ursher board.
The Ursher board.
Cash App is
a real thing. We are at 1 hour and 52 minutes. Yes,
when
that's
did that
right.
happen? This was supposed to be a short show.
It was supposed to be a short show, but that's the kind of show we are. I have a couple of y'alls.
Okay.
First of all, y'all know that white comedian who did half of his routine about being married to a Black woman?
Gary Owen?
Gary Owen.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they fixing to get a divorce. And Sister Girl says, you need to run me $44,000 a month.
He making money like that?
That's according to her. She says he's got uncashed checks for $500,000, $600,000. I was like,
uncashed, huh?
That's what she said. That's what she says.
Must be nice.
But the one that I really want to highlight, I put this in our group chat, but I want you all, Sharpies, I want you all to look this up. We're not going to run the video because HBO owns it, and God knows I don't want that HBO smoke. Y'all need to check out John Oliver last week tonight and his treatise on hair. This is the most ally-ful video. It is 24 minutes long, and it is 23 minutes and 59 seconds of fabulous. This is the most ally white treatise on Black issues since Tim Wise and the lady
Jane Elliott.
Jane Elliott. I mean, John Oliver puts 125 tons of stank on it.
I would love to meet him one day. John Oliver is
he with
all that in a bag of chips. Now, I will say this. What I also love about him is, for a fact that he got Black female writers in his writing room.
Oh, has to.
Because he did
this thing on edges. He did this thing on edges and lace fronts, and I couldn't believe that shit.
Like, to some people, burning hair might sound like crazy. Goes, but I know for a fact that there are a lot of you watching right now that had to hold your ears down in the kitchen while your grandmother burned. Who told him that?
Who told him that?
His woman must be a sister.
Well, all I know is, if you have not watched it, Sharpies, please go watch it, because he deserves every stream he gets. It was epic. It is amazing.
Awesome.
Stunning.
And I will say this, he has said stuff before on the show that is colloquialisms in Black community. And he'll say, I'm not sure what that means, but my writers assure me that it's funny. And so he'll make fun of himself,
Right.
knowing that he's crossing some cultural lines. And he always gets it perfect. And he gets it perfect because of the diversity he has in his writer's room. He never misses a step. I have pulled stuff. I hesitate to say this because I don't want them to sue me. But I have gone and researched on my own the things that he has brought up on his show and used it to educate people that I'm working with. Like, did you know this about how police are getting trained? Did you know this about the inception of slave patrols and how that morphed into the police systems? If you catch his piece on how policemen are trained nowadays, and how they are trained to go to war. But if they're going to war, who are they going to war with? I mean, that begs the question. He does some very hard-hitting stuff. I have reposted it because, I'm a DE&I subject matter expert. I have reposted a lot of his stuff and said, he's coming for my job. I don't need to show up to work today. Just watch John Oliver's last 3 shows and you'll have it. And I'm endorsing him more than I did Andre at the top of the hour. But John, last week tonight, that's my shit. I really do like that show.
It's amazing. And the hair thing, trust and listen.
What night was it on?
It was last
Sunday. But that
Sunday.
hair piece is on YouTube.
It's on YouTube now. So just John Oliver, hair.
Yes.
And you should get it. It should be the #1 index thing. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And don't sleep on Trevor Noah either.
No. But Trevor, since Trevor is at the barbecue already.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, John Oliver puts the full on allyhood, and I'm telling you right now, white people, and with the accent, it's like, you should not be talking about black hair. Right. It's just, and the Crown Act, he hits the Crown Act. Listen, y'all, just go watch it right now. Y'all got anything else? Because I got to bounce. I got my other foolishness going on. I was hungry.
Yes.
Well,
I'm going to bed.
If y'all ain't I know Chuck ain't about to do nothing but look at some more texts and go to sleep. So with that, I will say, I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Chuck Hobbs.
I'm Sharon Letman Hicks.
And I am Joy Stevens.
And this is Steel Sharpens Steel with a new video.